Well, good morning, everyone. Time to rise and shine on this Tuesday morning. I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. Well, gosh, it's kind of a busy weather day for meteorologist Thomas Patrick. He's tracking the latest forecast for you on this Tuesday. Thomas, could we see some scattered rain today in addition to the heat?
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. Definitely seeing some scattered showers even already this morning, in addition to another chance for those isolated pop-up storms later on this afternoon. They're always very difficult to forecast for, so it's always a lot of Doppler radar watching as we do what's called nowcasting. We look at Doppler radar, we say, okay, here's where the showers and storms are right now, and we can pretty accurately predict where they're heading. You can even see the motion for yourself from east to west through portions of the Palouse. So a little bit of light rain getting through Moscow and just about to arrive in Pullman. Bit of rain through St. Mary's, and as we pan up towards Coeur d'Alene, Spokane, there's definitely cloud cover, but probably not a whole lot of rain falling from that, at least not yet. But our temperatures today will once again be in the low 80s this afternoon.
Happening today in a matter of hours, the man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students is expected to be back in court today.
Now the suspect is asking for a pause on proceedings against him so that he can challenge his grand jury indictment. He's also asking for the grand jury records.
KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones has been reading through court documents. He joins us now from the newsroom with more on what's expected to happen in court.
Yeah, Bryan Kohberger has 4 motion hearings at the Latah County Courthouse scheduled for today. They start at 1:30 p.m. Last month, a grand jury indicted him for the murders of Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Madison Mogan. So let's break down what we can expect to happen in today's hearings. In the first hearing, the defense has 3 motions requesting evidence from the prosecution. That evidence includes body cam video, cell phone analysis, every tip law enforcement received in the case, and DNA analysis reports. In the other 3 hearings, the suspect is asking for all of the documents from the grand jury that indicted him and time to review them. According to court filings, the suspect argues that it is his legal right to challenge his indictment, and the release of the proceedings is necessary to ensure a fair trial. The state argues the suspect is only entitled to an audio recording or transcript from the grand jury. The suspect is also asking for a qualified protective order to maintain the sensitive nature of the records. Under this order, his defense team would have access to materials while strictly adhering to confidentiality rules. The defense is also asking for a pause on the proceedings if the judge allows the release of the grand jury materials. The judge is expected to make a decision on those requests today. KREM 2 will be in the courtroom where we will bring any updates on the KREM 2 news at 4 and KREM.com. In the newsroom, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Now, just yesterday, we learned that the Latah County prosecutor will be seeking the death penalty if Coburger is found guilty.
And this comes 40 days after he was formally indicted by a grand jury. In newly released court documents, the Latah County prosecutor says the murder of 4 University of Idaho students was, quote, especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity, and adding that the defendant acted with reckless indifference to human life. However, even if Coburger is found guilty, he still might not face the death penalty.
Even if the jury believes that Coburger is guilty, the defense attorney would still have an opportunity both to challenge the aggravating factors that the state intends to prove, as well as to present mitigating evidence as to why this particular defendant should not be put to death.
So that means the jury could find Coburger guilty but not sentence him to death. In that case, he would be sentenced to life in prison. We learned Idaho has not executed someone in more than a decade. The state called off its last 2 executions because of a lack of the lethal injection drugs needed to carry out the sentence.
The companies that do make this drug are European countries, and they're no longer willing to sell it to the United States, as they have been for nearly 10 years now.
Beginning July 1st, if lethal injection is not an option, inmates will be executed by a firing squad. After the state's announcement yesterday, we received a statement from the Gonsalves family attorney, Shannon Gray, saying, quote, the Gonsalves family is grateful that the prosecutor's office is pursuing the death penalty. There is no one more deserving than the defendant in this case. We continue to pray for all the victims' families and appreciate the support we have received.
Just about 6:06 right now. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. Yesterday, Spokane police arrested a Lincoln County man for murdering a 5-month-old baby earlier this month. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office says that the infant had been abused by 29-year-old Jordan Milsjay. The child was taken to Sacred Heart for treatment but died from their injuries. Right now, we still do not know what Milsjay's relationship to the baby was. Well, the state of Idaho is going to get more than $500 million to expand internet access across the state. Today, the National Telecommunications and Information Administration announced Idaho will get more than $583 million as part of the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. Over the next 6 months, the office will work with communities to develop a plan for how to distribute the money.
That is a legit funnel.
Wow, take a look at this stunning video showing a tornado touching down in southeastern Idaho on Friday. Some Idaho weather watchers were calling it a guitar tornado, likely because of its shape. And that's a look at your morning rush.
We've certainly seen our fair share of some thunderstorm activity recently all across the Northwest. Yesterday, some of you definitely got some heavy rain. Most of you probably dodged a lot of these scattered showers that we saw. As for this morning, we're seeing temperatures above 60 degrees, which is very mild on any summer start to the day. Could see a shower this morning, but I think our better chances for any isolated showers and storms are going to be late this afternoon and into the early evening hours. So very little change to our forecast. Temperatures still likely going to be in the 80s as they have been the last several days, but the higher heat is going to arrive by Thursday and Friday of this week. Even next week's outlook is promising quite a few days in the 90s regionally.
New from overnight, police are just learning about a shooting that happened at Franklin Park early on Saturday morning. Police say a group of people got into a fight. That is when someone fired a gun. The group of people at the scene already left the area when police arrived. Police did not find any victims, but they did find a shell casing. Right now, no suspect has been identified. You may remember, actually, last August, there was another shooting at Franklin Park. One person was killed and 3 others were hurt. Meanwhile, less than 12 hours ago, Spokane City Council members passed an ordinance which increases the penalties for trespassing in parks after hours.
So that penalty now jumps from a civil infraction to a misdemeanor. Spokane police say that they've seen a significant increase in crime and vandalism across city parks. According to SPD data, between January of 2021 and March of this year, there were 29 shootings in 22 different city parks.
If I lived across the street from Franklin Park right now, I would put my house for sale and I would leave. And it's the same for some of these other parks, because whether you want to believe it or not, it is out of control. And if we can give our officers one more tool, and maybe if a call comes in and an officer can approach that person, maybe those officers can stop that shooting before it happens.
Dozens of people spoke out against the ordinance during public comment, saying the law unfairly targets the homeless population.